republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Moving on to item number 3, Chair's addition. The Chair has no additions tonight. Moving on to item number 4, public comment. I don't see anyone, but if someone shows up, they can fill out. Item number 5, approval of the minutes from the May 13th, 2021 Utilities Committee meeting.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second. I'm not hearing any objection. So moved. Item 6A, proposed ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 9, to require that all proceeds from the sale of the East Bank sewer utility assets are deposited and utilized only into and for the Mega Infrastructure Fund.
Motion.
We got a motion by Councilman Wagaspack.
I got a question.
Okay, and I'm also going to second that motion. Yes, sir, Coach. Go ahead.
Okay, the mega fund, exactly what is the mega fund? I mean, the mega infrastructure fund, what is it? And where this sort of existed to the money that's gonna be in the money, where are you taking the money from that's going into this fund?
If this
And
ordinance
what money is
passes,
going into it?
it's going to be the 9.26 million from the sale of the East Bank sewer system, and also the I believe it's the 75% excess of our general fund every year that used to go to ACUD number 2 will now transfer into this fund annually as well. And this fund is going to serve as strictly an infrastructure fund, money that we use for infrastructure projects, transportation, drainage, recreational needs, and let's see. If we want to on federal highway interchanges, if we want to dredge canals, all things like that, infrastructure projects. No money for studies or engineering unless those studies and/or engineering can be used for matches on our state and federal dollars. The idea here is to have this fund, where we could potentially have tens of millions of dollars, and whenever the opportunity arises for a new interstate exchange or new recreation park, we'll have this fund right here, and it'll serve strictly for those purposes.
Okay, I know when we sold the sewer situation, we had that the funds that we will be getting will be used, as you just mentioned, for recreation, drainage, and roads.
Yes, sir.
That money will be used strictly for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This ordinance, we have very specific language that it can only be used for the safety widening of roads, intersection improvements, bridge construction upgrades, federal highway interchanges, transfer into the Ascension Parish Move Ascension program, if we feel it necessary, drainage for dredging of canals, improvement of Ascension Parish levee protection systems, and construction of regional detention areas. And the funds can only be used for construction items considered direct costs such as labor, material, equipment, and land.
So in moving forward, Chairman, this money could be used for the instruction of the West Bank water system, if we so choose to move forward on keeping it or in the discussion of selling it. We could use some of that this money.
Right.
To straighten some of the stuff that we have on the West Bank to get it in order.
Right. And the last line of the ordinance states the funds shall not be moved out of the Mega Infrastructure Fund without a majority approval of the Ascension Parish Governing Authority. So majority of the council, wants to take X amount of funds and move it to PUA. That's within the realm of what can happen here.
Okay. All right, I just wanted to make sure we stay in line with what we promised the people. And make sure
Yeah, we put very specific language in here. I don't.
We have that.
I don't know if we could be more specific.
We don't want to breach that trust
Absolutely.
that we work so hard to get
No,
to where we're gonna stay with what we said we're gonna do with it and stay in line with it. So I appreciate it and thank you.
Okay. All right. Any more questions, comments?
No, sir.
We have a motion and a second. Any objection? Hearing none, so moved. Item 6B, resolution to request the Finance Department to submit a budget amendment transferring all remaining funds from utility construction to the Mega Infrastructure Fund. And I would like to clarify, so we currently have our 219 program going on for PUA on the West Bank. I believe we've already committed ourselves roughly $1.5 million. So in making this request to finance, we want to make sure that we're leaving our money there that we're already committed for the water company on the West Bank, plus about 10 to 20% of what we've committed just in case of overruns and everything. We don't want to stop any progress on the PUA on the West Bank whenever it's only costing us 25 cents on the dollar. So I did want to clarify that. We're asking them to move the rest of the dollars into the infrastructure fund, but do not touch the dollars we've already committed for PUA.
Okay,
Good?
Yeah.
Chair would entertain a motion or questions, comments?
motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion and a second. Do you have a question, Ms. Wagasback? I see you.
Yeah, I do.
Let's see.
So I guess I'm,
Oh, hang on, let me get you.
oh yeah, good.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm, and this might be my ignorance, wouldn't be surprised. So I guess I'm confused, the resolution part of it. This wouldn't just, if we pass the other ordinance, it wouldn't just happen, or is the,
No, because this is, these are that funds, that 12 to $15 million that we've been talking about.
right, that's been sitting there,
It's been
right?
sitting there, so we're asking finance to go ahead and submit a budget agenda to the full council.
Gotcha.
And make sure we leave funds for our PUA projects.
Okay,
And then the excess, let's move into the mega infrastructure fund.
okay,
Yeah,
understood,
Oh.
okay.
questions?
Just, hang on one second. Let's see, I'm gonna go to the next speaker. I believe that's you, mister. There you go.
Is it on?
Yes.
It's supposed to turn green? Oh.
Yep, there you go.
So on this one, to follow up with, I think we might want to clarify that that's the fund it is, so that way it doesn't take funds that are already dedicated to the construction of our match for our PUA water meter program and stuff like that.
The actual fund name is the wastewater fund.
Oh, okay, the wastewater fund, what do I have? I have utilities construction, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the wastewater fund. Yeah, and, Mr. Dawson and I have been talking, we want to make sure we have all 1.5 to 1.8 million dollars there for the $4 million that we're getting from the 219 program to match that, and water meters, the tie-in, and then potential, a capital project at the water plant itself.
Yes,
So, yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Mr. Diaz.
Yeah, should you offer amendment real quick to change it to wastewater fund, so when it gets to finance, there's no confusion?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make an amended motion to change it from utilities construction to the wastewater fund. The language.
Motion.
All right, we have a motion from Councilman Wagasback.
Second.
A second from Councilman Thomas. Any more questions, comments?
I have
Oh, okay.
a question.
Hit your button for me there, Coach, so I can turn on your mic. All right, go ahead, Coach.
All right, have we decided on the money that's gonna be transferred into that account?
Mhm.
How much of it, which percentage of it that we plan to use to correct some of the problems we have on the PUA and the HCUD one? Of what, the problems we have, or the problems that we have, in getting this thing, moving forward with the water bills and all of the stuff that's taking place at this point right now with we having inconsistent water bills.
Mhm.
We needing to change the pipes, that needs to be changed. We changing some of the water meters as we speak
Right.
right now, but
If I can speak to the bill, so, our ongoing audit is continuing. We're waiting to get all that information. And so, and Mr. Dawson and I have been talking about is that we still want to continue every year to try to get that $3 to $5 million of the 219 program. And then, so every year we would just do us a budget amendment. If the 25% was 1.2 million out of the mega infrastructure fund, then the council can move that 1.2 because our PUA is an infrastructure. So if we ever need dollars to match for the PUA construction, it'll be here in the mega infrastructure fund.
So, the other question is, to make sure that, that I'm in the loop of knowing what's being taken place, within the, water company, whatever's that we're talking about, in the meetings and the stuff that's with Mr. Ken Dawson and Mr. Galvin Flemings and the rest of the group that, when they're meeting, I like to be informed and like to be, in the know,
Okay.
just what we're deciding to do.
Right, and there's nothing
with
taking place that you're not, that you're not privy to the details.
Well, I
You know,
just
with the-
wanted to know,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that, I've made that known, that you allow me to be in the loop, to know what's going on, because I just feel like I hadn't been able to in the conversation,
I didn't
knowing.
I didn't know you felt like that, Coach.
Yeah, I felt like that. I feel like that. I just hadn't, I don't think I know everything that I need to know, or just what's going on. And, I want to be in the loop, and know exactly what, because I have questions from my constituents, and I want to answer them, and I want to answer them correctly. When they're talking to me or asking me questions, I like to know exactly what I need to tell them, and tell them in a manner of doing it correctly, and giving them a correct answer that they need to hear. Because
Okay.
I do have a lot of questions that I get from my constituents in terms of when things are going on. So allow me to be in the loop, allow me to have the communication that I need to know what's going on.
All right,
Thank you.
all right, Mr. Waxback.
Yeah, so just to piggyback on what Coach Thomas is asking for, is there some kind of monthly operational report or some kind of summary that could be done, maybe as part of this meeting, maybe not part of this meeting is there some kind of summary of meetings that we do, like just month to month, items that come up is there something that we're already doing that we could pass on to him, or maybe prepare a little report every month to just kind of give an update on PUA? Now that Sewer's not here on the West Bank, it could possibly, on the East Bank, it could be possibly something, we could do a report. I'm just
Okay.
asking.
Well,
Not saying you got to answer me today, I'm just
Right.
asking, is there something
Oh,
like that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
well,
Hang on, I'm gonna let Mr. Gavin.
So, we do the water reports, which, I know y'all are a little overdue on those, but we've kind of had some, make sure we want to get our stuff straight. And like we said, we want to present those, we're trying to present those quarterly. And Mr. Dawson has always invited y'all for meetings on a regular basis, so that way you could talk about it and learn and stay on top of, all the goings that are happening within the utility department. But if there's anything particular that y'all would like as far as a report goes, y'all kind of need to let us know more what y'all would like to see as opposed to anything, because I don't think necessarily y'all want to see the report of how many customers paid their bills on Tuesday or anything along those lines. So if there's something in particular, let us know. We'll be happy to get it for y'all.
Hit your button for me, Coach. All right, go ahead, Coach.
okay, no, I'm not asking for as the request of who paying what, but I'm really concerned with the changing of some rules for the if you're changing the amount of something to for the industrial complex or industrial buildings, you change it from 118. I'm just using an example. It was 118. Now you've changed it to 220. The price of whatever it is that we're charging them.
I don't believe any price can be changed without the approval of this committee and the council. yeah, I mean, this is the rate setting body, is the full council. As far as, I believe it's connection fees, the monthly rates.
What's been changed lately? Is there anything been changed here lately?
Let's see, all right, Coach, I'm gonna have to cut you off to go to,
Gavin.
let Mr. Gavin answer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
real quick. Do we want to pick this up when we get to that item? So we can close out that item three, item,
Or do that.
Yeah,
But I do want to make a request, excuse me.
okay. All right,
Recognize.
hang on, let me. Oh, y'all are killing me here. Okay,
no, you can,
go ahead.
but in regards, nothing's changed. Everything's set by the council. So the only thing that we can do is follow the rules that are set up. We have created an adjustment policy, so that way we can monitor and make sure that a proper procedure is followed in any instance where an adjustment would be necessary, whether the water meter is misread or the number was, put in incorrectly, or whatever the case may be. But that's the only thing that's changed at the moment, and we haven't fully adopted that yet. We are still waiting on our audit report to come back.
So,
All right, go ahead, Coach. If it's about
I want
water
to make
meters. Okay,
I want to make a request to have a monthly report and allowing me to know what's going on.
Like, can you be more specific? What
Well,
kind of, I mean, what exactly are you looking for,
A monthly
Coach?
report on the upgrades of on the facility, on just exactly how close are we getting to doing what we need to do with the pipes and the different moving of lowering the water bills, so to speak, to where we haven't. Well, I guess I can get to that at the other question. But I'd just like to have a report on what's basically going on within the water company in itself, and then being Pacific, just if there's any changes, if there's anything that we're doing.
Okay. All right, we'll have to, I guess, talk about specifics. I mean, that's a very broad request. I don't fully understand. Like, I mean, are you talking about like the internal meetings for the
The meetings,
utilities?
yeah, the
For-
meetings that we having, for as, with, Ken, Galvin, yourself, that we normally have. We was doing them, but we stopped.
Right, yeah, I mean, we haven't done it.
That's basically what I'm talking about.
Okay.
The meetings that we usually have, we hadn't done them in a while.
Right. Well, yeah,
Give an
Mr. Ken
update.
hasn't, we
Yeah, I
haven't done them the
understand
last
I
few
understand.
months. Mr.
But
Ken's
I
been
wanna,
dealing with some
I
serious
wanna
personal
keep-
issues.
Keep that in the loop in terms of us doing it.
Right, and you were at the last one that we had.
Right.
Okay.
But we hadn't had one it's been a while.
Yes, okay. All right, so we had a motion, correct? We had a motion from Mr. Wagasback,
Second.
a second from Coach. Okay, and I have no objection. Any more questions, comments? Hearing none. Motion passes. Moving on to item 6C, amendment to contract with Hartman Engineering in the amount of $35,700 for quality control, quality assurance for the transfer of assets to NWI. And so I believe this contract is going to be so Hartman Engineering can assist the admin with the details of transfer of the assets, making sure every customer, every pipeline is accounted for. And they wanted to bring in some help to help accomplish that. And so I spoke to Mr. Dawson today, and I would either like to offer an amendment, or if someone else wants to, so this is an addition to an existing contract that ends in, I believe it's October. And I would like to also go ahead and extend it 120 days past the October deadline, which would bring us, the end of February. So at this time, I'll entertain questions, motion. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. White's back.
Yeah, so I'll motion. So I guess I would want to hear, we can still move it to the council, I would say maybe offer up the original contract to see what has already been done, to
Okay.
see what we're adding to it. Right, because this is adding on to something they've already,
Yeah.
they've already done some,
Okay. So I'll let Mr. Gavin give us.
Okay, so the original contract that they have was a general utilities contract, and under that general utilities contract, we issued different task orders. So they've done everything from which things that y'all have approved previously, like the Oak Grove School. They did some initial designs. They helped with some of the other additional research for it. So this would be another task specific to their contract. So this would be, I forget what number task it is, but this would be solely within that $36,000, I think is what it is.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, third.
So this would only be associated with that one task with the specific deliverables of putting together the packet for NWI to help submit.
Yeah, whenever we bring it to the full council, let's go ahead and attach that original contract. That way we know what we're actually amending as
Yes, sir.
well. Could I get you to amend it for the timeline as well? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still not used to this push button.
Yeah, so I'd like to offer an amendment to, in addition to adding the 35.7 for this specific task order, also extend the timeline from where it is today out an additional 120 days.
Perfect. I will second that motion. Any more questions, comments, opposition?
I was just gonna say, yeah,
Okay.
I think it'd be helpful for the whole council, because of course we'll have so many more people
Right.
to kind of have a little bit better summary of what the original task orders were and what we're adding it to, so,
I agree.
all right.
Okay. Any opposition? Hearing none. Motion passes. All right. Item 6D, discussion request for Parish Legal to review sewer ordinances for potential revisions per recent approval of sewer East Bank for sale of East Bank sewer assets. And so administration, along with our legal, has already been working on this, but I felt the need to put it on here due to recent comments and whatnot from someone else. So look, there's roughly, by my count, I think there's roughly about 7 or 8 sewer ordinances that we need to seriously look at for either revision or complete to do away with the ordinance, and I'm just gonna name a few for the record. Section 18-115-9, Section 18-119-8, Section 119-10, Section 18-120-2, Section 18-120-3, Section 18-117-1. And these things address things like our current sewer ordinance says that a franchise fee must be $5 a customer, where we've legally agreed with NWI on 4.5%, not a flat $5 rate. So obviously we need to repeal that one. And there's different other ones like I don't know. I'm not going to bore everybody. Existing ITUs not in compliance within 60 days. We don't have an inspection program or have plans to put one, but we do have a ordinance that allows us to inspect an ITU that could be raw sewage. Someone brings a mobile home or a camper onto a piece of property and never put down a MODAD and just run a pipe out to the ditch. So we want to have the authority to walk up and make sure we're not dumping raw sewage in the yard. So I just wanted to bring it up that administration, along with legal, and Chairwoman Casso is privy to all those details. She's sitting in a lot of the meetings with them and all that stuff. So and I'm gonna go on to you, Mr. Weisbach. You got a question or comment?
Kind of both.
Okay.
So you have this as discussion/request. I mean, would it, and again, I guess parliamentary and not present, but Cinnamon, I mean, could we change this to if we move this to the full council, could we change this to a resolution for parish legal to review and list all those sewer ordinances when it goes before the full council?
Yeah, look,
To make it very specific?
That's
I mean,
why I put /request, so that
Yeah.
you could do
so
that.
how would I make a motion to change this to a,
It doesn't need to be a resolution, though.
it doesn't need to be? Okay. So if we pass it and it goes to the full council, we could add those ordinances or those specific ones we want them to look at?
Yes.
Okay. That was kind of my question, comment. I wasn't sure what I could do or not do.
No, in our legal and along with the legal for NWI with the legal representation for them, they're already working on this. I put this out of being, I guess, peer pressured into over recent events. So it's on there, publicly discussed, publicly stating that, there's no ITU inspection plan being discussed or will be. But the ITU inspection ordinance allows us to make sure no one's dumping raw sewage into a ditch or canal or anything like that. So I added it to the agenda, and so it's there. I mean, but it's already being worked on.
So we don't have to, are we motioning this? It's not really,
If you want to make an official request, then yeah, I would motion
Okay,
and we'll go
motion.
on.
All right, and I'll second the motion. Any more questions, comments? Hearing none, so moved. Item 6D, discussion of PUA water meters. I spoke at length with Mr. Ken Dawson the last couple of days, and so as we all know, there's an audit going on with some very inconsistent billings, and so what we learned in the past is that a meter reader would take that reading. They would put it into a system, and there was no real supervision, checks or balances, and it almost like a meter reader could, install a number and even change a number if they wanted to, which has led to some inconsistent billings, whether new meters were installing or Bluetooth connected. So the meter readers, whenever they go read that number, also whenever the vehicle or the meter reader get in X amount of feet, I don't know, I think it's a couple 100 feet, 400 or 500 feet, or okay, yeah, like if the laptop or the iPad, whatever it is, whenever it gets within a half a mile to a mile of these meters, it digitally uploads the actual number on the meter as well. So we'll have them reading the number, and then we'll have the digital or Bluetooth data being uploaded as well. And so that will be a new checks and balance system. So if the meter reader's numbers aren't matching what is being uploaded to the database, then that'll throw a red flag. So we need to see which one is inconsistent. Is it the manual reading from the meter reader, or is it or software? And so and it is ongoing, like we discussed a little earlier. That's part of the 219 program. We're going to change every single one of them with those dollars, and there is an audit going on to look for any indiscretions that may have happened in the past with our meter readings. So I just wanted to relay that. I actually thought that was a very good upgrade and I also put in place a meter reader can no longer go change the meter reading in the database without supervision approval. And up until recently, that was a capability they had, so you could have, a meter reader could have helped the customer out or overcharged the customer, and there wasn't any checks and balances. That issue has been remedied already until we get all of our brand new digital meters in. So with that being, I'm going to go to Mr. Gavin, let him speak, and then we'll take questions.
Real quick, just to clarify, the meter readers are not the ones that put the numbers into the system.
Oh, okay.
It's the ones that are in the office that put the data in, but everything else was absolutely 100% correct. I don't, the only people that can get into the system are the ones that have logins. So it's not like anybody can come through and make changes without notification. But to speak to your comment earlier, Councilman Thomas, with the 219 program with the water meters, that is on track to go out for bid later this year. So that project is still moving forward, and as Mr. Melanson said, it will work on changing all of our manual reads to digital read meters. It's going to give us complete accountability. It's going to any number that comes in is going to be digitally inputted into the system. Any changes that need to be occurred will be occurred after the fact, and it's just allows us to build up our tracking, so that way no other, we can catch anything that's a problem.
Right, and we say out for bid. So I think the only reason we haven't went out for bid yet is because we won't receive the 219 funds until the fourth quarter this year. Is that correct?
We don't send it out for bid. It's all done through the Corps.
So that's
the
right.
Corps
That's
does
right.
the
With the
the bidding.
219. Okay.
Right now, it's under their final review, I believe, from the last phone call we had. So we will probably have another update in the next couple weeks.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Gavin. Any questions, comments? Let's see, Coach. I got you. There you go.
All right, the first question I have is the meter readers. Are they certified? Or do we have meter readers certified? Or do they have to be certified?
And then, once they've done their internal training, then, they're fit to go out and read meters. Reading meters, they get taught the routes, they learn the routes, and then they know what houses to go to, and it's literally they go one house to one house and they write down the numbers on the meter.
And so I've looked online. I'm sorry, Coach. I hate to cut. I've looked online, and I can't find anything about certifying meter readers. I mean, it's basically you see a number, you write a number down.
Correct. It's easy as
It's an
being
honesty
able to go,
system, really.
recognize 0 through 9 and
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to turn coaches. Only one of y'all can be on, and
No
I hate
problem.
that. No, go ahead. You finish,
But no,
please.
you're absolutely right.
Okay.
There's no such meter reading program. We've asked other municipalities. We've asked Baton Rouge Water, and they have the same policy we do. They do an internal training, and we've even had the information coming from the water meter manufacturers just to verify if there's any discrepancies in the different dials that each of the meters have, and they've all are up to par on those.
I would like to inquire or maybe even ask that with our internal internal training, that the meter readers and all employees understand that any input of a wrong number, whether you're helping the customer save a few dollars or you're trying to overcharge a customer, either way is fraud and it's theft. I don't know if that's part of our training, but we really need to pound that into everyone's head.
It absolutely is.
Okay.
And whether they like it or not, they have, inaccuracies with readings is a big problem with us. It's not a big problem with us. It's a big problem when it happens. It doesn't happen let me clarify, it doesn't happen often, but when it does, and if it happens a lot, it's normally caught before we get the bill sent out. So unfortunately, some people have had, repercussions from having put in the wrong numbers too many times and having to send somebody else go out, because the way the operation goes is they get their list, they get sent out, they do their meter reading. When they come back in before the bill's sent out, our ladies at the front desk go through and verify that those numbers fall in line, that look like they're right. But if it looks like a number's been transposed or a meter's been incorrected, we have to send somebody else out to go and re-verify that the numbers. And that's part of our policy. That's kind of our first line of defense, is to make sure that, the numbers make sense. If the person's been using 1,000 gallons a month and then all of a sudden they're using 10,000, there's normally a verification of those numbers. And then if they're verified that they fall in line, then the bill will be sent out.
Okay. All right, Coach Thomas.
Galvin, my constituents, I've had a few people that have called in, and I see you smiling, but I assume you know what I'm about to say. You smiling, so I don't know what you're smiling at, but my constituents have called and have said that I've had a few meter readers didn't read. the meter. How do you know if they read the meter or not? Because some of them that I've encountered have said they have watched them pass the meter up and put whatever numbers they've been putting. And as you mentioned earlier about you use one sort, your inconsistent reading, 1 month you have so much, your water bill is $25 this month, next month is $75. So, I mean, and once you go through, you look at it to see whether you need to go back and read it or just how do y'all go about determining whether the person put a wrong number or just what? I mean, you know, you put, I'll pay $30 one month, and next month I'm paying $120. And that's inconsistent. And the other thing I want to ask is how often, how are we doing with the new system? How accurate is that new system with the you just pass by and check it?
So to answer your first question, our guys don't have always the same routes. So there's not normally one person that will hit every house on the same time. Sometime it might be worker A, the other time might be worker B. But we can't send out bills unless we have a number for their address. So if they go by an address and don't write a number down, there's almost no guarantee that the number would fall in line. If the number falls in line, then we always verify as best we can that the meter's wrong. If there is a discrepancy, which we do on many occasions, where a customer calls in and say, my meter number is, I didn't use that much water, I shouldn't have done that, our guys will go out and then they'll recheck the meter number. And if it's consistent with what was read from that point, or from the original read date to the point that they go out and check it out, the number looks like it falls in line, then, that was a correct reading. The digital meters, they are 99.6% accurate. They never over-report. The only thing, which is why meters have to get changed out, is because they under-report. So we're extremely confident in the new meters. What we've seen on those, somebody can speak till they're blue in the face and say, I didn't have a leak, but we can pull up a report that shows down to the hour when it was repaired. And then it also shows how much water was used, the flow rate, so we can actually almost back calculate how much water has been used within a degree of their previous bill. But all of our guys and ladies know that, we can't give away services. We always have to read appropriately. If any mistakes they make, it hurts the reputation of the company and it hurts the parish. So we strive to be as accurate as possible, which, has been pretty good considering we have to read every month for 3,800 customers.
How many water meters you have consistently reading? How many water meters you have over there? How many
You
water
have
meters
800.
reading?
You have 800 and
No, I believe he's asking about how many meter readers.
how many meter readers we have? Right now we have 3 that are specific meter readers. Our last hire was a nice lady that she actually worked for Iberville Water Company prior, so she came with a lot of good experience in meter reading.
And Gavin, in the training of those that just coming on, how long is the training? How difficult? I don't guess it's difficult to read numbers. I mean, but what type of training y'all normally bring them to do it? And the reason I ask you that is I've had, again, my constituents they, and they have said that they hadn't read the meter. And the reason they said they hadn't read the meter, because they'll go behind them after they read the meter, and you still have grass, water, and mud over the meter. So if that's the case, they hadn't read the meter.
Well,
That's
honestly,
why I said what I said about reading the meters.
I can't argue with them because I don't know if they're on a digital read or a manual read meter, because there are, with our test program, we've been installing some digital reads on the PUA side. So depending on where their locations are, they might be getting digital reads, and just because you don't see them go by doesn't mean they didn't go by earlier or on a weekend. If it rains during the week when they're supposed to read, if they normally always see them on the second or the third of the month, but it rained those couple of days, they might have came out on a Friday or a Saturday. There's no specific time. It's not like, it's not like necessarily the mail where the mailman's coming at 2:30.
Right.
We are working with a shorter staff, so sometimes, leaks happen. Sometimes a major leak will take precedence over the water meter reading. It'll get done with accurate numbers, but it might be a day behind as far as when they go and read the meters.
So let me ask you a question. The bills as they are now, and are we looking at lowering the bills, or are we looking at, in the near future, raising the water bills?
That has to
Oh,
go
you
through,
can't-
that's up to the council, Coach. The council is the rate setting body for the rates on PUA and ACUD one.
Well, what I'm saying is, again, my water bill $30, and the next month, I got $100 water bill, or a $18,000 water bill. So, I'm just confused on
It is not
what
our
we
job.
working toward.
It is not our position to give away services. If their meters are showing the numbers and we have validation that the numbers are correct, then we have to, unfortunately, collect them. Part of our policy is to, if you have to finance, or if you need help with making payments, we do allow you to spread out payments over I think our limit is 6 months, 8 months. We do have some that have had extremely high bills, that we have let them go a little bit longer than that just because of the volume of the work. We're not trying to prevent people from having services, but we do have to collect on the services that they have used.
I clearly understand that. My other question is, the reconnecting fee. Did we just go up on that?
Yes, we made them match when we approved the policy manual, which you had been given a copy of prior, and you had your comments on that you had given to us on it.
So was there any reason why?
Because we don't want PUA and ACUD one, since they're both with the parish, we were trying to be consistent across the board on all of our rules and regulations. So it wasn't fair for customers of ACUD one to be charged $50, and then for the PUA customers only have to pay $20.
And the fee at this point is what?
I believe, like you said, I think it is $50. I don't have it in front of me.
So you wouldn't know that. All right, Mr. Fleming, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, with that being said, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second,
Motion and a second, and I have,
Wagers Pack,
good to go? All right.
motion, second by Thomas.
Motion